We've been sort of on this adventure for about a year of meeting new friends and people, and some of it's forming into actually sort of a community of people that are spending a lot of time together. So a lot of the songs have come out of that adventure. And then there's a couple, not old songs, but older, that I wanted to recapture because they were done in a sort of studio environment. That's Amen and Rest in His Promise. So those have the longest history, but I wanted to recapture them. And part of the dynamic is this band is just able to really present these songs in a good way. So a lot of it's fresh material out of the creative sort of dynamics of all playing together.
Such a big sound, and it's a sound that really just like captures you. It's like when you walk in, like you could feel it. It's like it hits your body. So it just has a lot of power. It has a lot of feeling.
As far as worship music goes, it's probably the freest I've ever felt to just kind of play and go for it and never feel like I'm stepping too far or getting out of the box too far. It always seems to fit.
Like we're all kind of in this thing together where, we're learning how to share life a little bit in the city, be true to our faith, that kind of thing. Doesn't change the music necessarily in the sense of structure or format, but it certainly creates a vibe and a presentation of the sound and music. But with that sound happening, will be it'll spawn other creative ideas. And so songs come out of the certain vibe that this particular band creates. You wouldn't write a certain way if these different components weren't all happening together. Like the one song that we did, Shine on Me, the Let the Light Shine. But that totally came out of just because we're playing together. So Mr. Hartree, did his magical little bing a dong bing ding mang a dong ma ding dong ding 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 mong mong ding go. And you go, wow, that's really cool. And then start getting some words and stuff.
Because of my background playing jazz, we'll just start playing, and you just, since jazz is spontaneous composition anyway, a lot of what we do is we just take off on, you've heard it, take off on, and something happens and we go, let's go out here for a while. And you go careening down some lane you've never been on, and it may turn into a dirt road, and then you plow through the cornfield, and all of a sudden it's like, there's something back there.
Personally, I have a real vision. I've had this for quite a few years now, vision and passion for creating containers and platforms for artists to be able to just really walk out in their gift and whatever their art form is, whether it's a visual artist or a musician, that kind of thing. So really feeling like they carry something that's more than just their art form, but that they've actually are sewing something at a deeper level into, again, just this picture and this piece that we really feel we carry, as in kingdom and justice and creative expression.
The first time I got up there, I started painting, right when the band, whoever they were, started worshiping. And I just felt like this is what I was meant to do my whole life. Like I just felt like that was my worship. This is the special slot that God has for me.
For me, worshiping through dance is it's an awesome way to express things that I can't through words.
This has been a definite exploration of, what it's like to do art in this form and just kind of paint in that form. And that was really cool, just kind of take that step and say, okay, this is a little bit more spontaneous for me.
It's a commitment philosophically and theologically to unlocking the widest spectrum possible of how the heart unlocks musically, artistically. I mean, for us, the highest place of that sort of release is to God. I mean, we actually really do believe that. But it's, it's naturally supernatural. It's not some really just bizarro, mystical thing. And so just over the years, we've tried to find, like the sculpting thing was brand new in this adventure. So Sherry just kind of had this thing, I'd really like to have sculpting part of this thing. We're like, wow, that's kind of a crazy idea.
It creates memorials for people. Throughout the Old Testament, New Testament, Israel was always making memorials to remember, like the mighty acts that God did on their behalf, and to be able to give expression to his testimony, and to have something to come back to. Sculpture's always speaking. You don't have to hit play. You don't have to play a CD. You don't have to. It's always talking for like the sky. The sky is always talking for anyone who's willing to hear.
It's not to be cool as much as it is to find more ways for the heart expression. So even we, use this little phrase through some of the music. Sometimes the words aren't enough. Actually, a lot of times they're not. And so an image or a picture or some body moving across and expressing the thing in a totally different way. It's a little bit risky. I mean, you try certain things. Some dance stuff we had to adjust because it just, but I mean, that's the artistic thing. Every artist has got this vulnerable place where you kind of lay your wares out there, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But we're committed to that process to kind of unlock it and want to fight for it working together.
On a night like tonight, when we have all the freedom in the world to be as creative and expressive as we want to be, and just to worship with our whole selves, that is a phenomenal experience, because my whole body can express something in a safe context where it's okay to express that, and it's okay to just be that.
You don't ever have to impress God. That's never why you're there. If you're playing for 10 or 15,000 people, you're trying to make a bit of an impact. But when it's just when your heart's just pursuing one, it's a bit more freeing.
This is who I am, and I feel like that this is what you're called to be. And sometimes people will. Not everybody's going to react to it in a positive way, and some people are going to like it, and some people are going to hate it, and that's just the kind of the chances that you take. And I think that in your heart, if you're true and you're pure, and that you're giving everything to God, then it doesn't matter if what anybody else says.
Being in the moment of listening to God and letting Him move is not like anything else. I don't know how else to describe it.
There's this story in the Old Testament teachings about a prophet who had to get in context with other prophets of different religions and things, and they're all cutting themselves and slaying themselves, and this and that. It was a contest to see how, who had the God of power that was going to whatever. And Elijah just didn't get into the competition. He just kind of sat back, actually soaked everything with water, just went, God, you just got to do your thing, let it fall. So for us, it's not about competing or trying to, it's just about integrity and knowing that God will unlock the heart and He'll get something out of this. And if He touches it, it's fire. It'll burn. If He doesn't, we'll just be flailing and cutting ourselves and expending all this energy, trying to be hip and cool and, this and that. And who needs that? I'd just rather sit in the backyard with my kids and, enjoy life.